So let's dive quickly into, well, I won't say quickly, it might be a little while, but relationships a little bit.
Okay.
So we'll talk a little bit about that. And the biggest thing I want, because as another person that's in this industry, I don't really like having conversations with other people about relationships is very interesting. Like when I'm with my one-on-one clients and stuff like that, having those kind of conversations are interesting because people don't really understand like what it's like to like, I guess like entrepreneurs would understand more than anything else. Like if you have someone that's an entrepreneur and they're dealing with someone that is also an entrepreneur, you guys can work like side by side. But I find that when you don't have a person that understands your lifestyle, like understands what it takes to be in this industry, then I feel like relationships end up falling short to a certain degree because you constantly have to explain yourself of like what's happening and like why you're working these hours and like why you have to like meet up with these people and like do this and do that. And I think that's the biggest thing is like the first thing is just like basically like going through like because of the fitness industry, how has that affected your relationships either now or in the past, if it has.
Especially as someone who's very hungry and driven to do a lot of stuff. It's taken a lot of time to communicate clearly, not only to the person, but to myself. What do I want? Where am I gonna draw my boundaries between working and not working?
Yeah.
How do I put that out more clearly to the girl that I'm dating or a past girlfriend or whoever? Being clear with that comes first with clear with myself and holding priorities and managing my priorities. If I'm in this place where right now career is my number one, I'm going to make sure I communicate that and I have to be clear about that. It's hard. You can't always, in certain situations you can have your cake and eat it too, but in this level, I don't think you can.
No.
And there's been times, you learn by lots of mistakes that and humbling experiences where I think communicating priorities is very, very crucial. And when people understand how passionate, how driven, how purposeful and meaningful the work that you do is, they have respect you even more. And those aren't the people that don't understand are not for you, and they're not for you at that time. And so I think that there definitely has to be a dance both ways, because you have to look at the other person and be like, okay, what is she or he interested in? Why are they doing what they're doing? How do they manage their expectations and set those onto you? It's very important to be able to communicate that, but you have to know what you want inside yourself first before you go out and venture into a shared lifestyle. Because that's what a relationship is about. It's about, sharing and coming together. You say compromising, but it can be elevating too. Because you gain just as much, if not more, from another human being when you have that. And I enjoy that. Right now I'm single, and I enjoy those moments when I am by myself, but there's other moments where when I'm in a relationship, I learn so much about life. That's like the best travel is like a great education, but being in a relationship I think is even more, because it teaches you so much about you, and it's so raw.
It is.
And you're not in control. Remember I said like the triage thing. You have to step into those different roles that you may not have had that much practice in, which is what makes being in a relationship extra special. Traveling is a great educational tool, because you're in different environments, you interact with so many different things, but you're in control most of the time. In a relationship, it's a two-way street. So
I think that's a tough thing. I find it's just tough with how everything is constructed. And I find a lot of time I'm spending, I'm in a relationship now, and it's great, right? But there's obviously things that happen where it has to do with work that I'm just like, there's a priority. But at the same time, you obviously love the person, or you care about the person enough where it's like, okay, am I still affecting their feelings? Like, how can I do both? But like, it's a tough balance, right? And it's
preparation, man.
Yeah.
And then, so like so how I manage, so I can take my relationship stuff, take my relationship with my parents and put it onto, let's say, romantic relationships. I've learned to really master the art of hanging out with my parents and building a strong relationship with them, because I prepare myself and I almost procrastinate on when I share them information. Not procrastinate, not last minute, hey mom and dad, let's hang out. It's more like, okay, let me tell you in advance, here's what I would like to see you and do this and this, and lay it out so that you think ahead, and that mom and dad are like, oh wow, he's like really thinking about this. He's smart, you know, he's a good boy. That can be applied to your relationship. Like, don't throw shit last minute and expect your partner or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, whatever, to react and be like, oh sure, yeah, I'm game. Or of course, do your thing, babe. It's more like, take the time ahead to plan according to your schedule, according to your priorities, and say, you know, tomorrow night we're supposed to hang out. We're going to do that. The following day we were supposed to do something else, but I have something that came up last minute. But what I'm going to do is, we can't do that, but the following weekend we're going to do this for sure. And you kind of, I don't know. That's from my experience, and I feel like that really helps to lay it out and then communicate it. Or this really means a lot to me, and I'd really appreciate if you came and supported me. If you don't, I can understand, but it's just something that means a lot to me, and not make it as transactional. In return, I will do this for you. It's more like just showing how passionate you are about what you do, and that communication from the heart and the soul really transfers, because if they love you, they're going to be there for you. Right?
So speaking of communication a bit though, do you find, because you're obviously at a different higher level of communicating and being able to have those kind of conversations, do you find that, let's say, have you ever had an experience where you've had to deal with someone who is not necessarily a great communicator, and like, how are you able to like I find that happens like every day, not necessarily in my relationship, but like in like with my parents and everything else. Like, no one really like actually listens, right? And I find that's a huge thing why communication tends to fall off. A big part, like a huge part.